So the president has become such a big virus, more than COVID, isn't it? The president is more dangerous than HIV virus. Divorce is more painful than impeachment. Gachagua, his shares ni kama zimechomeka, so he has to be thrown out because shares zimechomeka.
Is it true if I say Gachagua is the first deputy president in Kenya to be impeached?
Do you know Gachagua presided over the raping of Matibas' wife? Actually, not even raping, sodomizing. So
are these true allegations?
It is true. It's a fact. It's you know, I'm a professor. You know.
Is it booked? Is it written
when
down?
you hear that Gachagua was a DO, a special DO,
yes.
What's a special DO's work to do? Was Gachagua a DO? Can you prove? You can't, because it was a special DO. What do? They do acts of arsonism. He's an arsonist. Terrorists. So he terrorized Matibas' wife. He was the one who presided over the raping and sodomizing of Matibas' wife. Matiba was respected by the Kikuyu community like a king, because Gachagua himself looks like an outcast among the Kikuyu people. Truth be said, the acts that he did before against his own community is the reason why people don't care. Not his being has been impeached. Improperly impeached, but impeached, isn't it? Before you go for war, you have to know how many soldiers you have, isn't it? Before you start building a house, you have to know how many natural resources you need and whether you have them. Gachagua entered in a war without knowing how many soldiers and resources he has. Gachagua entered UDA with all his head, legs, and shoes and everything, stomach and kila kitu. Paka akajiita shareholder, sivyo?
Yes.
But he didn't know that he has no shareholder certificate. I saw another madman saying in town that Gachagua is being impeached and the Kikuyus are just doing business as usual. And it looks business as usual. No one even cares. No one has even gone for Mandamano.
Even the Milima people haven't even come out.
Yeah, no. Let me talk about this matter very clearly.
Yes.
Gachagua is the son of the Mulima people. They respect him as their son. But Gachagua do not have the political capital that he thinks he has with the Kikuyu people. Who can Gachagua call to defend? No. When he was in trouble, you saw him appearing with his children, with some MPs who came to give sympathy, who might have been the one he was giving money to try to upsell the agenda. So when you enter a war and you begin fighting with the sitting president, you don't have MPs.
You have no one.
The constitution is not on your side, because the Kenyan constitution, there's a lot of lacunas in it that the lawyers can do what they want, and then the judge does what they want, and then judiciary can do their way, because there are so many lacunas. For example, look at what was being discussed yesterday. People forget about Gachagua very soon. Gachagua was impeached, I've told you before, he was sworn in. In fact, when Ruto saw him taking that thing that I got Gachagua, he was saying that now this is the man who doesn't know what he's doing. So Gachagua should not cry as if he's the first one in the world being abandoned. Even women have been divorced. Even men have been divorced, isn't it? If I asked you, if you are a married man and you are between being impeached and being divorced, which one is more painful?
I think divorce.
Uhuru is the only single president who had only one deputy, who is William Ruto. And Uhuru tolerated him. The only problem is that he is not tolerating Gachagua. Ruto wants to put Kindiki there as if he has the support of Mount Kenya, but he knows very well that if there's no strong candidate in 2027, they will rig the election in Mount Kenya. Then you hear Mount Kenya has given him 4 million votes, and no one voted. Just like if you even go to our backyard in Luo Nyanza, they'll put Raila Odinga poster there as a poster boy, or even Nyong'o. I've been on the ground. People of Kisumu, Luos, do not want Ruto. They don't like him, and they'll never vote for him. If 700,000 people never woke up to vote for Raila when he was having the highest chance of being president, what tells you that they are going to wake up to vote for Ruto? So they'll put some Luo there, then rig the election in Luo Nyanza and say that Luos have given Ruto 3 million votes. Where? So these are just posters. So Ruto will put very many posters everywhere, then use these posters to rig the election by ensuring there's no even the agents and the rest, and then take control and then show you that he has won the election. But in real sense, Kindiki has no mobilization capacity. And I'm trying to urge Kenyans, why don't all of us become antibodies of William Ruto and then consume him, because that's the big virus in the country. William Ruto virus is more dangerous than even the monkeypox. He's more dangerous than tuberculosis, more dangerous than measles. I do not know which kind of vaccination we need to give to remove him, and that's what Nations are now facing. 2022 election. Raila in the ballot, Ruto in the ballot. The choice was between Raila and Ruto. Now Ruto and Raila are together. So what?
This is Rofina TV, and we are based on political conversations, based on a wide spectrum, and that's why we have you here, a political man.
Yes.
You're already sitting on a political seat. You see, this one looks like one of the seats in the parliament.
Yes.
It's red in color, so meaning you're almost on the political seat. How true is that?
Yeah, well, you know, I had a career as an academic. I was a professor in Strathmore for 12 years. And I used to teach corporate governance. I used to teach government officials. I've taught so many of them. If you go to Josephat Nanoko, was my student in Strathmore. You go to P.S. Omolo, was my student. I've taught many people. You see them in government. I want to mention so many names, but I've taught the who and who in government. I've also formed around 23 CEOs in the public sector. For example, the CEO of KCB, Paul Rusa, was my student. The CEO of Housing Finance was my student. Robert was my student. So I've been with them in the classroom talking about the right ways to do governance. But then what they tell me, Professor, we are very frustrated because you teach us good practice in the classroom, but real business is done outside. So the issues about corporate governance, how money is lost, how theft is there, corruptions, are done outside the classroom.
Yes.
So as you continue teaching in the classroom, you find yourself that you are only talking things which are idealistic, but reality is on the ground. People are suffering, and I'm happy you're saying Rofina TV is focusing on politics. We have found out that even if you are a professor, you are highly qualified, but you have very little impact on people. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Between a professor in a university, an engineer who designs building, a doctor who treats people, and a president who runs a country, who can destroy a country faster?
Based on my opinion, that's a very tricky question, because when you look at all these four people, they all engage in building up a country. Now, the bigger percentage, let me give it to the president.
Yeah, you're right. Because an engineer can design one building that can kill 10 people.
Yes.
A medical doctor can do a right surgery that can kill 1 or 2 people.
Yes.
A professor might teach 1 or 2 people who might actually get another person to correct them. But a president with the wrong policy can kill a whole nation.
Yes.
So that's why you see politics now becomes interesting. And I've been telling people in the corporate world, every Kenyan professional, the fact that you're not interested in politics doesn't mean politics will not be interested in you. As you wake up in the morning, politics is in your breakfast. Because that bread you're having for breakfast, decision is made by a politician. Sugar, milk, isn't it? As you step into your car, fuel. As you go to your work, chalk. Everything you use is from the political decision being made. You are going to do CBC system, designed by what? A politician. Education, university education system, designed by a politician. And that's why I found that in as much as I want to continue being a professor, I also want to have a say in politics, because the fact that you don't want politics doesn't mean politics does not want you. Secondly, it's also become very interesting that if good people don't join politics, bad people will. We are in Nairobi.
Yes.
People who vied for governor for Nairobi in 2017 was Kidero and Sonko, isn't it? So every good person was not in the ballot. So you choose between Sonko and Kidero.
And Kidero.
Now, we are now in 2020, 24, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
2022, we had Igade and we had Sakaja. People chose who? Sakaja. Look at what's happening. We are in 2027, we had an election. 2022 election. Raila in the ballot, Ruto in the ballot. The choice was between Raila
And Ruto.
and Ruto. Now Ruto and Raila are together. So what were we choosing? So there was no choice anyway. So I'm urging the corporate, while I'm urging leaders who think they are good in corporate governance, who are ethical, who have integrity, that integrity is useless if you sit within the bank. It's useless if you sit within the insurance company or sit within the boardroom. That integrity will make sense if it makes the most important decision at the top. Because corruption falls with the force of gravity, up, down. The same thing to integrity. If you have the right person in State House, that's the time Kenyans will say they have a right. That's why sitting in a red couch is not something I am afraid of.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I don't shy away from being called a politician, because let me tell you what, I'm in all WhatsApp group in this country, whether those for banking, fundraising, guys are talking politics all the time. We are just hypocrites by saying that these are politicians and we are not. All Kenyans are politicians, and a human being by nature is a politician by nature. Even at home, there's politics at home, there's politics of place of work, there's politics in the family, there's politics in funerals, there are politics in corporate work, there are politics everywhere. In fact, if you can't manage politics, you are doomed.
Yeah, and speaking of political temperature in the country right now, we are seeing, I don't know if it's visible on your side, but many Kenyans are complaining about some sort of influential, let me put it this way, many Kenyans are complaining that they're not seeing money in their pockets at this political temperature time. And another thing, we are seeing Gachagua being evicted from office. You're seeing the procedure they have followed. You're seeing everything that is happening to that guy. Same thing, I saw it last year, but now this one is worse than last year because we're having the first deputy president being impeached out of office. And what we saw last year, Ruto was on the Mercy side, trying to seek sympathy from people, claiming that the former president, wasn't treating him right. And what you're seeing now is the same case considered to what is happening. What are your views on Gachagua impeachment, and what are your views on the political temperature in the country?
First of all, let me address the issue you were saying about the issue that Kenyans are saying there's no money in their pocket. And these are just the economic choices we've made. We have a government that is overspending, and therefore, if you are overspending as a government, you find yourself that you cannot be able to offer services. Let me give an example. In Nairobi County, just the county of Nairobi, has 42 executives sitting in the county government. They receive money from exchequer around 15 billion shillings. 82% of that money is a budget for those 42 people. Do you know how many people are in Nairobi? Nairobi, sometimes they say at daytime, the Nairobi population is about 5 million. At night, it goes to around 2-3 million because some people go out of the county to go and live there. They work in Nairobi, but they stay out of Nairobi. So out of the let me talk about an average of 4 million people. The 82% of Nairobi budget goes to 42 people. Then the other 18 goes to the county assembly, those MCAs. The other people in Nairobi remains either if you wash for them a car, you sell them maize, or you sell for them samosa, you sell them donuts or tea. That's the only way you can make money. Or maybe their car got bad, you repair, or you are a security guard, you are their driver, or you are a cleaner, or a secretary assistant. That's all. So how then does money reach people? Then these governors, these people take money out of the country. You saw the other day Wavinya Ndeti caught in the UK trying to send money there. And Wavinya Ndeti is just one caught. How many people are doing it and have not been caught? So it tells you the government is overspending and they're giving money among themselves. That's why we say Kenya is owned by 2% of Kenyans. So the 98% of the Kenyan revenue goes to only 2% of Kenyans, leaving 98% of Kenyans fighting for 2% of the money. And that's why money is little in everybody's hand apart from them. For them, they have all the money to do anything they want. Whenever they have a birthday party for their families, see how they flash money.
Yes, I see. So meaning, you agree this
it's a reality.
You agree like this country is a shareholding country?
Yeah, the country is shareholding and very few people own shares. Very few people own shares. Others are just workers. You know, shareholders are the ones who have hired this government to work for them, and then the government now hires workers to work for them. So that's why you're working in a company you don't own. You can be fired anytime you want. Remember, if you look at the Gazette notice, how many people lose their jobs anytime they want.
Yes.
Anybody who wants to come in when they want. For example, Gachagua, his shares in the kama zimechomeka, so he has to be thrown out because shares zimechomeka. And we shall discuss that. Now, the other thing we talk about the issue of the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes, exactly.
First of all, let us draw a few parallels here. The impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua has been put out there as if it is something very unique. But for me, it's so similar to everything we have seen. Why? The first president of this country had at least 3 vice presidents.
Yes.
So he didn't rule for long, but he had at least 3 vice presidents. Josephat Murumbi is among them. Kibaki is among them, isn't it?
Yes.
Moi is among them. Jaramogi Oginga is among them. Actually, I think 4 thereabout. How many did Moi have? Moi had around 4 also. And then after that, we get Kibaki, who also had 2. Kibaki had Wamalwa Kejana, isn't it? Actually, he had 3. Mudi Awori, then also he had Kalonzo. Now we are moving now to Uhuru. Uhuru is the only single president who had only 1 deputy, who is William Ruto. And Uhuru tolerated him. The only problem is that he is not tolerating Gachagua. So this is not unique. But also let's go outside the country. Trump, in his first term, he had Pence as the running mate. Now he has somebody called Vance. So the same way Americans are dealing with these issues, the same way Kenyans, so it's not a unique issue. So Gachagua should not cry as if he's the first one in the world being abandoned. Even women have been divorced. Even men have been divorced, isn't it? They don't cry in the media. Divorce is more painful than impeachment. If I asked you, if you are a married man and you are between being impeached and being divorced, which one is more painful?
I think divorce.
Divorce is more painful. So impeachment is not an issue. How many women are being divorced and men? So Gachagua should not cry as if this is a unique problem that is so serious. Secondly, he has already eaten for twice as deputy president. Some Kenyans have not even smelled being an MCA. Some people are still dreaming just to become an MCA for 1 year. He has been deputy president for 2 years. I think that is good enough. But anyway, to remove cynicism aside, according to me, and in strategy, we say that a war is won before it begins, and a war is lost before the war begins. Do you know what that means? Jesus wrote in the Bible, before you go for war, you have to know how many soldiers you have, isn't it? Before you start building a house, you have to know how many actual resources you need and whether you have them. Gachagua entered in a war without knowing how many soldiers and resources he has. Gachagua entered UDA with all his head, legs, and shoes and everything, stomach and kila kitu. Paka akajiita shareholder, sivyo?
Yes.
But he didn't know that he has no shareholder certificate. What do I mean? UDA is a political party.
Yes.
When William Ruto was fighting with Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto had his own party.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had his own MPs. In the first term, he had URP. He could call what's called PG, Parliamentary Group Meeting, to defend him. Who Gachagua called to defend? No. When he was in trouble, you saw him appearing with his children, with some MPs who came to give sympathy, who might have been the one he was giving money to try to upsell the agenda. So you only having people, you pay them. No one is there with you because you are a party leader. That's why it's different from Raila Odinga. If Raila Odinga was to be impeached, Raila Odinga could have called all the ODM Azimio MPs for a meeting in Naivasha and tell them, guys, ukifika pale fanya hivi na hivi. You know what Raila did to Kibaki? After Raila lost the election in 2002 unfairly, Raila conveyed all the MPs in Serena and tied their hands with a ribbon. It was a yellow ribbon. and the orange ribbon. They walked from Serena, tying each other with the ribbon, until they voted Marende to become the speaker. Whom can Gachagua tie his hands? So when you enter a war and you begin fighting with the sitting president, you don't have MPs. You
have no one.
The constitution is not on your side, because the Kenyan constitution, there's a lot of lacunas in it that the lawyers can do what they want, and then the judge does what they want, and then judiciary can do their way, because there are so many lacunas. For example, look at what was being discussed yesterday.
Yes.
There's deputy chief justice has powers to appoint a bench. The constitution is very fuzzy about that. How do you remove a deputy president from office when the president is still sitting? It is just guesswork that has been used to remove Gachagua. Now, how do you nominate a new deputy president? The constitution is not very clear about it. It's just lacuna, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
So with all these lacunas, Gachagua was supposed to sit down and say, if before you resist the president, you read the constitution, if he wants to impeach you, what can you do? Can he impeach you successfully or not? You know, and for you, you just run because you are just throwing words in the air. So a war, Gachagua had been impeached even before he was sworn in. And this was a game of William Ruto a long time ago. And you know, remember, William Ruto thought that Gachagua was going to be a yes man, and he thought Gachagua understood how he came to the marriage. You know, if you marry and your partner has also come in the same house, you have 2 sofa sets, she has 2 sofa sets. You park 2 cars, she's parked 2 cars.
Yes.
You buy a TV, she has also bought another TV. You know, when it comes to divorce, kila mtu anachukua, you take your 2 TVs, she takes hers. So it's easy, but for you, when Ruto takes his TV, you remain without a screen.
Nothing, yes.
When Ruto takes away the cars, now you are walking. You know, when Ruto takes away security, now your wife is the security. You see, you have to find a way that you have to know that when you enter a union, where political unions are always where the betrayal is the word. Whenever you enter in any political union, you must know betrayal is the order of the day.
Very
Tell
true.
me anybody who has been a politician, and I'll tell you someone who has been betrayed. Raila, been betrayed. Ruto has been betrayed. Uhuru has been betrayed. Kibaki has been betrayed. Jaramogi betrayed. Saitoti betrayed. There is no politician who can tell you they have been politician and they are not being betrayed. If you want where there is no betrayal, you become a church elder, where people will be reading the Bible verses and people act according to the Bible. If you stand in a political scene and say, I've been betrayed with my brother, there's no brotherhood in politics. Politics is about interest. And when you go to politics, you have to understand how will you balance the interest and what are your cards. If you have no cards, you have nothing now. He's now banking on lawyers who are only being bankrolled by him. After the judges have made a decision, people forget about Gachagua very soon. Gachagua was impeached, I've told you before, he was sworn in. In fact, when Ruto saw him taking that thing that Rigathi Gachagua, he was saying that now this is the man who doesn't know what he's doing. So for me, Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment should not be a big discussion in Kenya for now.
But don't you think that it was wise for Gachagua to resign than being impeached?
Actually, there's an interview I said earlier. As a professor of decision making,
yes,
there are 2 things. There's what you call make decision in your sphere of control, meaning it is what you can do and you get the outcome without someone determining the outcome for you. And there's another thing we say, decisions in the sphere of your influence. You can influence. So Gachagua's calculation was, if Gachagua was to resign, for sure he could have not had through what is called impeachment burden.
Yes, exactly.
Because coming from office was going to come from office anyway. But now he's dealing with what's called impeachment burden. What is an impeachment burden? 1, he cannot run for office if you are impeached.
Yes.
Secondly, all benefits, pension,
it's all
security,
gone. Yes,
isn't it?
it's withdrawn.
All that is gone. Even some immunity is also gone. So that's gone. So burden of impeachment. But if he was to resign, he could have not had the burden of impeachment. He could still run for office. He could resign in some terms, isn't it? Because there's also resignation. You are given some immunity when you resign. But if you are impeached, you are gone. But Gachagua thought that he could be able to outwit William Ruto in court. But you see, because you're not the judge, in fact, when you go to court, you don't know even who is going to be the judge.
You're very true.
Because the judges will be appointed as per you put your case. And you can't put your case before you're impeached. You can only go to court after you're impeached. Yes. So these things you know after. It was the wisest decision for Gachagua to resign.
Resign, yes.
But you know, Gachagua thought that he could steal some political capital out of the impeachment process. But again, the outcome has not come out because of the fact that Kenyans don't care. I saw another madman saying in town that Gachagua is being impeached and the Kikuyus are just doing business as usual. And it looks business as usual. No one even cares. No one has even gone for Mandamano.
Even the Milima people haven't even come out.
Yeah, no. Let me talk about this matter very clearly.
Yes.
Gachagua is the son of the Mulima people. They respect him as their son. But Gachagua do not have the political capital that he thinks he has with the Kikuyu people. Because Gachagua himself looks like an outcast among the Kikuyu people. Truth be said, the acts that he did before against his own community is the reason why people don't care. Do you know Gachagua presided over the raping of Matibas' wife? Actually, not even raping, sodomizing. So
are these true allegations?
It is true. It's a fact. It's I'm a professor. You know.
Is it booked? Is it written
when
down?
you hear that Gachagua was a DO, a special DO,
yes.
What's a special DO's work to do? Do you know that in court they could not prove Gachagua was a DO? Because a special DO is not a DO. Because a DO is appointed. So when Njiru Ndegwa was asking the lawyer that, actually Elisha Ngoya, who was my former colleague in Square, was Gachagua a DO? Can you prove? You can't, because it was a special DO. What do? They do acts of arsonism. He's an arsonist. Terrorists. So he terrorized Matibas' wife. He was the one who presided over the raping and sodomizing of Matibas' wife. Matiba was respected by the Kikuyu community like a king. Remember, according to Kikuyu community, Matiba was elected president. Moi just stole the election from Matiba. So in Matiba, they see a leader. Can you compare Matiba with Gachagua?
Never.
So because of that, he cannot get... Let me tell you what. If Matiba had the political capital he says he has, the Kikuyu councillors could have called Matiba, could have called Gachagua now and anointed him as their leader. Why have they not even done that? He is a deputy president, second in command in the country, and the Kikuyu don't resonate with him. Can you imagine? I don't know which part you come from. Kalonzo is with all the Kamba council elders with him.
Yes.
If you go to this guy called Njeru Gatangu, he's the chairperson of the Kiama community, which is the Embu people. Raila Odinga controls the Luo council elders. Now not because of me, but he used to. You understand?
Yes.
How can you be a second in command, the most senior Kikuyu leader in the country, yet the Kikuyu council elders have not put a hand on you? Do you think it's normal?
It's not normal.
In our land, even an MP gets installed. Orengo was installed as a Luo council elder. Nyong'o was installed, isn't it? How comes Gachagua cannot show you pictures of him being installed? He insulted Uhuru. He even withdrew the security of Uhuru Kenyatta. When Uhuru cried that my secretary has been there, he told them, use G4S. So look, the word, how Gachagua talks, the Kikuyu know very well that Gachagua is their son. So they stand with him, they feel him. But that does not make him a leader.
Very true.
If you have a child at home who is a stubborn child, of course you can house him, you can feed him, you can protect him, but you don't make him your heir. You don't make him your leader. You just say, you are my son, that's it. But you don't make them a leader at home. You tell them, wewe, kaa kando kidogo, you so-and-so will be in charge of my home. Just like if you go to Moi's family, Gideon is not the eldest born, isn't it?
Yes.
You see, Raymond and Philip are older than Gideon. Who is the political leader of the Moi family?
It's Gideon.
Why? Why do you think Wakina Philip and Ray was not given? There must have been something they were lacking, or there must be something they still have to look for. Whether Moi will make them the leader later, but Moi is dead now. But you see, ile rungu ya nyao ilipewa nani?
Was it given to Gideon?
No, Gideon was not given.
I'm not sure of that one.
It was given to Philip.
Philip.
Yes. Ile fimbo ya nyayo. Haikupewa Gideon. But you see, that was a family sort of leadership. But political blessing was given to Moi, Gideon Moi, because he's the one who is the leader, party leader of KANU, isn't it? He was given those instruments. So what I'm trying to say is that you do not give a child leadership just because he's your child. So Gachagua is from Mount Kenya. They respect him as their son, but they know that what he has done does not make him to be elevated. And I can tell you, the Kikuyu community will eventually install one of their leaders, not now, after it has been institutionalized and someone has emerged and proven that he's a leader. They are not in a hurry.
So, and don't you think it's a political chess they're doing on the table, that Ruto is trying to gain trust with the Mlima people through putting Kindiki as the deputy president? Is he trying to do a chess game on us, or what are your views on what is happening? Because Gachagua was bringing heat on Ruto, trying to do some political campaigns, trying to destroy his name, trying to air out what is happening in the office. And what is happening right now, that man is removed out of office. Do you think it's a sacrifice to make it better for his chance to continue being the president?
Well, you know, there are some things you have to learn about William Ruto. William Ruto, most people voted for William Ruto, even in Mount Kenya, for William Ruto, not for Gachagua.
Very true.
And that's why even Kindiki has picked. Kindiki has no political capital. Kindiki has no influence on Mount Kenya. And Kindiki has been picked also just like a poster boy. You know what a poster boy is? Like
a display.
Come, you see, for example, you can put in your market that I am the owner of this market, but how do you own
Who cares? But who cares? Yes.
So on the ground, people see the poster. They see the poster, but on the ground, no, this is a useless person. Just like, for example, have you seen when people campaigning for MP, senators, and the rest? They say, the new MP for Ugenya. You can put that poster anywhere. But will you be sworn in as MP of Ugenya?
Not.
Will Ugenya people vote for you?
No.
Not really. So these are poster boys. Even Gachagua was a poster boy. But Ruto wants to mobilize directly. He will use his own machineries to try to reach out to Mount Kenya directly and just put this man here. Remember that Kindiki has been rejected as a Meru. You saw that?
Very true, yes.
They say he's not a Meru, he was from Tharaka. And they say Tharakas are not Merus. So even Meru have already distanced themselves from him. What about Kikuyus? They will not even consider even discussing about Kindiki. And what about the Embu, the Mbere, and even the Nithi? You know, there's Tharaka Nithi. So even the Nithi, who comes from Tharaka Nithi, might not even vote for Kindiki. But you see what's happening? Ruto is also very wise. Not wise, but vicious. Let me use the word vicious. Gachagua used it. Ruto wants to put Kindiki there as if he has the support of Mount Kenya, but he knows very well that if there's no strong candidate in 2027, they will rig the election in Mount Kenya. Then you hear Mount Kenya has given him 4 million votes, and no one voted. Just like even you go to our backyard in Luo Nyanza, they'll put Raila Odinga poster there as a poster boy, or even Nyong'o. And on the ground, people of Kisumu, Luos, do not want Ruto. They don't like him, and they'll never vote for him. If 700,000 people never woke up to vote for Raila when he was having the highest chance of being president, what tells you that they are going to wake up to vote for Ruto? So they'll put some Luo there, then rig the election in Luo Nyanza and say that Luos have given Ruto 3 million votes. Where? So these are just posters. So Ruto will put very many posters everywhere, then use these posters to rig the election by ensuring there's no even the agents and the rest, and then take control and then show you that he has won the election. But in real sense, Kindiki has no mobilization capacity to match the one that is needed for Mount Kenya.